What are the top songs from Judas Priest that were released in the 1980s? This is the Rock and Roll Weatherman. My name is Sean Morrison. And what Mr. Morrison's going to do here is he's going to talk of Judas Priest songs that were released in the decade of the 1980s. And they did have a lot of cool music back then, and they still do. Of course, their last album, Invincible Shield, was a fucking kick ass one, but we are sticking with the decade of the 1980s. In 1980, on April 11th, they released British Steel, which was a breakthrough album in America. And you know what members played in the band and everything. And, you know what songs were popular and everything. Of course, Living After Midnight and Breaking the Law and Metal Gods are the most three popular songs on there, but you have to go with another awesome song off that album is You Don't Have to Be Old to Be Wise. And you can even put the range in there as well. And I'm not knocking the rest of the songs on the album. Love United, but that's my personal opinion on that album. And in 1981, the Point of Entry album came out February 27th of that year. And one great song off that album, and I know Janaki, I believe, likes this song as well, is one called Desert Plains.
Yes.
I've seen them play that live as well.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, one of their most long songs off that album, Heading Out to the Highway.
Great song.
Yes, but I feel like when I'm driving around sometimes. no, no, but they had other songs on it. There was a video for that song, Don't Go. I mean, it's iffy. Not everybody thought this was as good as other albums. I thought it was all right. I'm not complaining about it, but my favorite tracks off the album have to be Headed Out to the Highway as well as Desert Plains. And now we are going to go into the next album that was released, which was of course called Screaming for Vengeance. And that came out July 1st of 1982, and a lot of people were screaming for this album back then. They probably still are. And it's best known for its song "You've Got Another Thing Coming," which was a major mainstream rock hit.
That was my favorite song.
It's one of Janaki's favorites, one of my favorites as well. And I was very irate, and even called them Judas jackasses when they didn't play "You Got Another Thing Coming" for a long
Oh, yeah,
time.
that sucked. That was terrible.
It didn't make any. It didn't make any sense at all, and that's going to be the opinion of Mr. Morrison, that they would take out a great song like that. But other songs on this album, we're talking about "Scream for Vengeance," of course, "Electric Eye," which is a great one, "Riding on the Wind." Every once in a while, of course, "Pain and Pleasure" is one to listen to, but "Scream for Vengeance" is a cool one on which is the title track, and let's not forget one that a lot of people like, which is called Devil's Child. And now we go into the Defenders of the Faith album. That's right, it came out in 1984. My favorite song off that album, I introduced to that year by as well. My favorite song off that album is "Rock Hard, Ride Free." It is best known for the song "Some Heads Are Gonna Roll," which was had a co-write with a guy called Bob Halligan Jr. I believe he did other rock and roll writing as well, especially with Kicks. "Free Will Burning" is another song that stands out. And let's not forget "The Sentinel," and of course, "Love Bites." If you remember Love Bites, "When you feel safe, when you feel warm."
No, but
I'm fucking nuts. Then we go into 1986. The album Turbo, which was notable for the band's change to a commercial glam metal sound, where they used synthesizers for the first time. Of course, my favorite song off that album, the title track, "The Turbo Lover." Loved all the songs off this album, but "Rock You All Around the World" was great. "Parental Guidance," "Locked In," Every once in a while, Out in the Cold was one I listened to, and Reckless. Basically, I used to listen to this Turbo album like fucking crazy, and I'm still trying to figure out why. Um, and then I did not know the song Reckless was supposed to be in the soundtrack of the movie Top Gun, and they thought the movie was gonna flop, and it meant leaving a song over Turbo. And then we got one more Priest album in the '80s. I'm not counting Priest Live because that doesn't have any studio tracks on, and that's a concert from the Turbo tour. So in 1988, they released an album called Ram It Down, which came out May 13th of 1988, and two singles were released. The title was released in New Zealand. The title track "Ram It Down," which is a great song, which is a good song off the album. And of course, we have "Johnny Be Good." They did a great version of it. I don't remember them playing the song live at all, but a couple of my favorite songs off this album: "Heavy Metal," as well as "Love Zone." And they had a song called "Monsters of Rock," which was written about the Monsters of Rock tours that used to happen, and then they did one in the United States that year, but didn't really go as crazy in all the markets and all. But that's why it was written. But that's a fucking great cool thing called the Monsters of Rock. But I do like the other songs. My favorite songs off of Ram It Down, or the title track Ram It Down, Heavy Metal, as well as Love Zone, and of course Johnny Be Good's cool to listen to every once in a while. It's hard to list a top 10 of Judas Priest songs from this era as well. Depends on my mood. I want to give one of these albums a listen. I'll just fucking will. Friends, if you're not subscribed to the Sean Morrison YouTube channel, please do so. Everyone else out there, subscribe. Thank you much for the continued love, honor, and support. It is greatly appreciated. So, friends, which Judas Priest songs from the 1980s era are your favorites? Your thoughts, friends. Shame, shame, shame.